Is it better to live in Vernon or is it better to live in Armstrong? We're going to look at everything you need to know to make that decision, and we're starting now. I'm Lisa Salt with Vernon Salt Fowler, and sometimes buyers want to know where's better to move, into Vernon or to Armstrong. Today we're going to look at the pros and cons of each of those cities, but before we do, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video as we're posting new videos every single week. On this channel, we give you the straight goods on Vernon and the whole North Okanagan, our ultimate Four Seasons paradise. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days or just curious about the area that we call home, be sure to call, text, or email and just add salt. Make sure to stick around too. Don't be bailing early because I'm going to tell you how to download our free relocation package at the end of this video. So the answer to the question about where's better to live, Armstrong or Vernon, is it depends on where you stand on these 8 factors. Number 1 is size. How big of a city do you want to live in? Vernon's population is 44,519, which doesn't actually include Coldstream, which is its own municipality. However, Coldstream is still part of Greater Vernon, which is another 11,171 folks. So let's say in total, 55,500 for Greater Vernon. The entire North Okanagan, which includes the outlying rural areas of Armstrong, Spalmachine, Enderby, and Lumby, etc., is around 93,425 as of 2021. Armstrong, of course, is part of the North Okanagan, as I just said, and literally lies only 20 minutes from downtown Vernon. And actually from the north end of town, say from the RE/MAX office, it's only 15 minutes. Now, for those of you who live in the major centers, you'll think, oh man, that's nothing. Of course, we'll give you a couple of years to get Okanaganized, and then you will say, oh man, I have to go all the way to Armstrong. I guarantee it happens. Anyhow, the city of Armstrong has a population of just over 5,300 people. Although when we combine that with the district municipality of Spalmachine, or officially the township of Spalmachine, which is in the Spalmachine Valley surrounding Armstrong, has another just over 5,000 people. So when you think of that whole area, that Armstrong Spalmachine area, we kind of lump the two together, and you have, let's say, 10,000 people. Still, that's 10,000 versus the 55,500 in Greater Vernon. Both aren't huge by any stretch of the imagination. However, of course, Vernon is going to have more stuff to do, being 5.5 times the population of Armstrong Spalmachine. Being the larger city also brings us once again to analyzing factor number 2, which is the amenities. When we compare the amenities of one area to the other, it's obvious that Vernon is going to win in the amenities department, just for its sheer size. Vernon has the 3 lakes, a ton of beaches, Silver Star Mountain, a whack of golf courses, an airport, sort of. I guess Vernon's really closer to the real airport in Kelowna. It's got a hospital, a Walmart, a cactus club. Armstrong, on the other hand, has none of these things. However, really, as I said earlier, you're only 20 minutes to downtown Vernon. You're only 15 minutes to the north end of town, which includes Walmart and Cactus Club. Therefore, I doubt it's a huge issue. You're close to all these things, really close to all these things if you live in Armstrong. Now, if you don't have a vehicle, you don't drive, that would definitely be a challenge. However, if you do, it's not a huge deal. Saying all that, Armstrong does have some cool stuff. There's a 9-hole golf course, the Royal York, and I should also mention in Spalmachine, there's the Spalmachine Golf Club. Vernon likes to lay claim to that golf course. When I talk about Spalmachine, I always say it's in Vernon, but technically it's not, it's in Spalmachine. Armstrong has an arena, a curling rink, the cheese factory. That is a big deal, actually. The famous Armstrong cheese factory was originally based in Armstrong. However, it was bought out and it has moved back east now, though Armstrong now has the Village Cheese, which is a local family-owned cheese company. It's right off downtown Armstrong, and it's a cool place to go. You can get tastings and stuff. There's a Tim Hortons, all the good things, and of course, other chains like A&W, McDonald's, and now even a Starbucks. Of course, there's other great restaurants like the Anchor Inn, a local pub out in Armstrong, the restaurant in the Royal York Golf Course, and Farmstrong. It's a major favorite. It's a cidery with a restaurant in a rustic barn setting inside and out. It's always excellent. It's always lined up. There's other retail, there's Askew's. Monashee Outdoor is a great place to go for your outdoor gear and shoes and clothes, etc. Shepherd's Home Hardware and Armstrong. That's an extremely popular place and services that whole area. And as is usual with Armstrong, small town, you're always greeted with a smile when you come in the front door. Really, you can get all the basics that you need in Armstrong, that is for sure, without even coming into Vernon if you don't want to. And then you always know that you can venture off to Kelowna, an hour away, if you want to make the monthly trek. Maybe to Costco to stock up. Schools for the kiddos, Vernon has a whack, plus the college. Armstrong, though, has enough. It has Armstrong Elementary and Highland Park Elementary. Both are right in Armstrong. There's Lenwood Middle School, there's Pleasant Valley Secondary, and then North Okanagan Junior Academy, which is a local Seventh-day Adventist school. Also, I should mention there's some cool country theaters in Armstrong as well. The Asparagus Community Theater and the Caravan Farm Theater, which holds the outdoor performances in the different seasons with different themes. It's a lot of fun. Next, number 3, we have the industry. In Vernon, as we know, the major industries are tourism, professional service sector, agriculture, construction, some manufacturing, and forest products. Armstrong and Spellmachine, as you may have guessed, being a more rural community, is more centered around agriculture, grain farming of alfalfa and corn, logging, ranching, dairy, of course. Those are all the traditional economic activities. Of the two places, Vernon and Armstrong Spellmachine, they're kind of that differentiation between a tourism-driven economy versus an agricultural-driven economy. Some of the major employers in Spellmachine are Rogers Mill. Tolko has a lumber and plywood plant as well as a big reforestation center. There's an industrial park, which is actually the largest industrial park in the North Okanagan. There's High Tech, which is a Kohler company, Bigfoot RV, Rapid Span, Okanagan Aggregate. When I started to think about it, Spell has a ton of industry. Spell, by the way, is what the cool kids call Spellmachine. Plus, there's all sorts of market gardens and farms, such as the organic farm Pilgrim's Produce, which I personally love, love, love. There's also a bunch of chicken farms too, by the way, which is big business in Armstrong. And Vernon has a bunch of retail and professional stuff and Cal Tire. Oh, and by the way, I should mention, there's also a trap and ski club in the area in Spellmachine for shooting clay targets. The North Okanagan Trap and Ski Club. Visit them at shootnotsc.com. New members are welcome. Open Wednesday afternoons and Sundays. Come check out the club. It's a ton of fun. Number 4, let's look at natural attractions. Vernon, as we have talked about numerous times before, has the 3 beautiful lakes, Okanagan, Kalamalka, Swan. All the lakes are close in from downtown Vernon. It is literally 8 minutes to every one of these 3 lakes. They're all beautiful lakes for different reasons. Armstrong has no real lakes. However, again, it's not too far, especially from Swan Lake, which would be the closest lake to Armstrong, at 12 minutes away. Armstrong is also close to Enderby, 14 minutes to their downtown, which has the Shuswap River running right through the center near downtown. In the ski hill department, Vernon has Silver Star, which from downtown Vernon to Silver Star is 27 minutes. And that is, of course, a really beautiful thing for skiers, snowboarders, tubers, skaters, etc. And it is truly a fabulous world-class ski resort. We talk about Silver Star a lot in our videos because it's such a huge attraction for the North Okanagan. Now, whereas Silver Star is 27 minutes from downtown, from Armstrong, it's still only 40 minutes, so it's not much of a difference. Silver Star is on the north end of town, making it easy access for anyone coming in from Armstrong on Highway 97A. Both places have pretty decent access to skiing, really. The natural resources in Armstrong once again revolve around that whole agricultural field, that sprawling fields, the farms, the ranches around the area. If you're a horse person, a farm person, a love of nature person, a peace and quiet person, Armstrong is tough to beat. There are so many beautiful horse riding trails, lots of crown land access around in the area, and the whole community is really based around that agricultural farming feel. And there's also lots of local hiking around the Rose Swanson hiking trails, and it's only a short drive to the Enderby Cliffs in Enderby, say 20 minutes actually, and about the same distance to some great hiking in Kelly Mountain in Salmon Arm as well. Or of course, you're only 20 minutes to the Grey Canal in Vernon, or 18 minutes to BX Trail, and even only 30 minutes from Cal Park in Coldstream. So in other words, in Armstrong, you're really close to a ton of cool hiking and outdoor activities. And really, that is what the North Okanagan is all about, whether you're in Vernon or Armstrong, but especially in the rural areas, those outdoor activities and being close to nature and just being serene and quiet. Next, number 6, let's look at the climate. Even though the elevation of Vernon is higher than Armstrong by just a slight bit, Vernon is 1,247 feet, while Armstrong is 1,181. Armstrong is further north. Therefore, we expect a slight change in the climate, at least between the two, even though they're only a few minutes apart. The average annual rainfall for Vernon is 308 centimeters, and in Armstrong is 360. The conclusion is more rain in Armstrong by about 52 centimeters on average. Not a ton, but still something. Average snowfall in Vernon is 102.9 centimeters, and again, farther north generally equates to more snow, even if it is only that 15-20 minutes. And yes, Armstrong gets 127.9 centimeters, so about another 25 centimeters on average per year. I doubt these numbers are going to alter anyone's buying decision one way or the other, however, they are worth mentioning. In fact, when you think about it, the extra precipitation actually is good for Armstrong, especially if you have an acreage and crops and animals. You got to water these things on the regular. It's nice to have Mother Nature help out. Number 7, let's look at the house prices in both places. Now remember, these cities are very close together, and so we don't expect to see too much of a deviation in prices. However, you will expect to have less choices in Armstrong than you do in Vernon. Certainly in single-family homes, townhomes, commercial opportunities, you're going to have much more in Vernon. However, when it comes to acreages, horse farms, and the like, Armstrong wins hands down. Let's look at the prices. At month-end March 2023, the benchmark price for the whole North Okanagan was $728,000. For Armstrong, the benchmark price was $677,200. Armstrong wins again, cheaper by a bit in the single-family housing category. In townhouses, the North Okanagan was $578,200, and Armstrong was right in there at $571,700. Apartments in the North Okanagan, $309,600 versus Armstrong itself at $237,400. Now you have to note there's a bit of a flaw in this analysis because Armstrong's numbers contribute to the North Okanagan numbers. However, there is no Vernon-only benchmark number supplied by our real estate board. It's only for the North Okanagan as a whole with all the different sub-areas of Vernon and then Armstrong, etc. However, you get the idea. Conclusion on that, Armstrong is a bit less expensive than Vernon. Has way more acreages, yet has a lesser selection in general of single-family homes for sale than Vernon does. Number 8, fun stuff to do. Let's look at fun stuff. The major drawing card each year on the Labor Day long weekend in September is the IPE, the Interior Provincial Exhibition, which is in Armstrong. There's a stampede, a fair with rides, there's music, there's a livestock exhibition, food trucks, etc., etc. It is a ton of fun, and it is at the Armstrong Fairgrounds every single year. There's talk that at Armstrong, back near the turn of the century, stole the IPE from Vernon. However, when you read on, apparently both exhibitions ran in tandem for a number of years, and then Vernon shut down. Oops, Vernon's loss. It's a big event. There are other festivals in Armstrong too, such as the Harvest Pumpkin Festival in the fall, where sometimes pumpkins weighing like 800 pounds. Those are big ass pumpkins. Vernon, alternatively, the big event here is Fantastic, which is the annual slow pitch tournament, music festival, and basically all around drunk fest on the Canada Day long weekend. Although, to rain a little bit on Vernon's parade, I didn't know this, but Armstrong has a division of Fantastic as well, so we may not win that one either. Both areas being so close are both heavy on outdoor activities and taking advantage of all the North Okanagan has to offer, which is awesome. And if we were going to sum this all up, Vernon is bigger. And if you want to be closer to more amenities, more stuff, maybe you work in Vernon, then Vernon is your choice. However, if you want to be in a more rural community, a smaller town surrounded by acreages and super friendly people, it is really tough to beat Armstrong. It's really a lovely little town. Well, it's a city. Living in the North Okanagan, you can live in Armstrong and have pretty darn easy access to all of the Vernon amenities. Or you can live in Vernon and spend some downtime in the Armstrong Spell Machine area as well. Both communities are awesome. To see how the North Okanagan compares to, say, the Shuswap, be sure to watch our video entitled, Is It Better to Live in Vernon or Salmon Arm? And in the meantime, be sure to download our free relocation package at vernonrelocation.com.